Okay. Welcome to the second. No, well, I guess it's the second devlog, but it's going to be devlog 1 because the first devlog was 0 because it was just showing off something very basic that I was putting together, which was the interact system. Is that the interaction system works a little bit differently now, not in a way that's necessarily that visual though. It replicates properly, which means it works in multiplayer. And it's got one new feature. So over here, I've got two clients that are connected to this main game, right? You see that my character here is running across even in their screens. This is not an actual character, this is just in the scene. So you can see I can like pick this up and it works properly in these others. And also if I grab one of the connected clients, then it replicates for them as well. So that works properly. And also we've got something called interact transfer now. So I'm just going to move these blocks to make it a bit clearer what's happening. So it's the name may or may not be obvious as to like what it means, but basically sometimes you need to click on an object, but that object doesn't actually want to literally be interacted with, but it instead wants to make you interact with something else. So maybe clicking on it is like you spawn in, like the object is like, okay, I'm going to spawn in this thing, or I'm going to have you interact with this other thing, right? Right. So if I click on this cube that was here is now in my hand because I clicked on this. This box is just currently set to transfer interaction to this box instead. Yeah. So that's the new feature added. In this time, most of my time has been spent on, well, all these weird spheres you can see stuck to all these players, and also the spheres over here. What's all this? Right? Why is there one really big sphere on each player, including me? I have a big sphere as well. Well, this is the next, like, essential and more special system for the game. What's going on here? Well, if I click here, I just took it off. And let's put it back on. Took it off. Try and put it here. Didn't go on. There's a lot of those messages. I forgot to turn off all of my debug messages. So don't worry too much about those, the green stuff that appears in the top left corner there. That's not super relevant. Anyway, so what's going on over here? So the circles that you see here on the player, not circles, the spheres on the player, these are sockets. So Unreal does have an actual socket system for meshes. This is essentially just sort of like that. These are attached to sockets on this player's skeletal mesh, but these are essentially their own special socket that you can interact with. So these are all interactable. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 objects that I can interact with. And if you look top left corner at the yellow text, you can see number of interactables nearby is 7. And if I walk over here, now it's 5, 3, now it's 1. So what are these sockets for? They are for storing the body parts of the players, currently represented by this big sphere. It's just a big sphere because I didn't change its scale and I don't have any like meshes to put in, but I will put in something at some point, hopefully soon, just so it's a little bit more visually understandable. But this is a body part, these are sockets. This is actually specifically a right hand. So if we look here, if I take the right hand, try and put it on their head, didn't work. Put it on their left hand, didn't work. But on their right hand, it attaches. You can take it off. I can even go over here, take this guy's left hand, whoops, put it on. Yeah, that happens. So that's rolled away. Uh, so I can, in theory, mix and match people's things. And this works as well if you're the client doing it to the server. So now this is the server doesn't even, like the server player doesn't even have a body part attached. You can grab this and then put it on this thing over here. So that's what I've been working on for the past like 3-ish weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. This I got this done really quite quickly, but I ran into problems specifically with replication. I said this in my previous post on LinkedIn as a little PS on my Sage volunteer post. So I went to the Sage, the South Australian Games Exhibition, as a volunteer, and I just decided, well, it has been a while since I actually uploaded a devlog, so what's going on. I should probably say something if anyone was interested. I said that I'm having replication issues. I basically wasted last week trying to find a solution to a problem I didn't really understand. And then this week on Monday, I ran some very special, like specific, specialized tests to see if I can fix the problem. Like, can I identify what the actual problem is instead of trying to throw random solutions at it? And it worked. It was so annoying that I spent so much time. I wasted so much time on this problem, but it's fixed now. The problem was that this stuff was not working on clients. So like the server was able to do all this stuff, but the client was not really able to for any reason, for some reason. And there were crashes and bad validation, and it was such a thing. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. Very simple system. I guess I can quickly also close this, show just a little bit over here. I don't know necessarily if there's a good way to do this, like create certain systems, or create like good designer tools. I don't really know how to do it. Right now, I've just got this array here, a skeletal sockets array. You can see it takes in a socket type and a socket name. So right now I've got 6 of them. So you can see here's the right hand, here's the left hand, here's the right foot, etc. Um, and then down here is a default parts list where it takes this data table that I've made and it finds whatever row. You can see it spawns with a right hand. If I add an element, choose the same list, then grab default heart instead. If I load in, uh, you can see my shadow has another sphere on it. If I spawn in this guy over here, he'll have the heart, right? It's attached to that little circle there. And these over here are literally just exactly the same thing. I think something of on my player is blocking. Well, yeah, why couldn't I interact with that? I think I didn't set it properly actually. Yeah. But yeah, so you can see very funny stuff. Obviously right now these are on the floor are all hearts because I've only taken off the heart. They all need proper meshes, but yeah. So yeah, that's my second devlog, devlog one. I'm just gonna call it. All right, that's devlog one of the year of the 2026 project, or at least the first half of 2026. Uh, my goal is to try and get this done basically within the first half of the year because that's kind of the point, at least to me. So we'll see how this goes. I do plan on adding some form of art in. Can it maybe like probably like commissioning um, other students at GDML. Anyway, yeah. So thank you for uh, checking out what I've done so far.